Greetings, Guardians. This is Olympus Alliance. And today, we bring back another hero that once dominated the battlefield, but slowly lost her place in the meta. And this one hurts a little, because when she works, she doesn't just win fights. She destroys teams. Artemis. A hero that can absolutely take over a battle. But only if everything aligns. And that's the problem. She is no longer a universal pick. She is situational. But don't mistake that for weakness. Because if you understand how she works, if you build her correctly, and if you place her in the right conditions, she can still be one of the most dangerous damage dealers in the game. So today, we break her down properly. This is your maximum priority guide for Artemis. Now first, let's understand her identity. Artemis is an agility-based marksman from the Honor faction, positioned safely in the backline, dealing physical damage. And everything about her revolves around scaling damage over time. She is not about instant impact. She is about escalation. The longer the fight goes, the more dangerous she becomes. And that's the key to everything. Now her first ability. This is where the magic begins. She unleashes a rain of arrows. Fast, relentless, and scaling. And here's the detail many players underestimate. The number of arrows increases permanently during the fight. Every time allies use their abilities, she becomes stronger. More arrows. More hits. More pressure. And if those allies are from the Honor faction, she scales even faster. Which means, in the right team, she doesn't just deal damage. She overwhelms. Now her second skill. This is where control enters the equation. She creates a flash of light, damaging enemies and blinding them. And this is huge. Because blinded enemies miss physical attacks. That means you're not just dealing damage. You're reducing incoming damage. And against physical teams, this becomes extremely powerful. But it gets even better. Because Artemis has synergy built into her kit. When she attacks blinded or stunned enemies, she deals extra damage. And under the right conditions, that extra damage can eliminate targets instantly. This is where she becomes lethal. Now her third ability adds another layer. Whenever an enemy is blinded or stunned, Artemis triggers an additional attack. And not just random. She targets the farthest enemy, which is often the most important one. The backline threat. The damage dealer. The support. And that's what makes her dangerous. She doesn't just deal damage. She targets smart. And finally, her passive. She increases her physical attack based on the total health of her allies. Now this is extremely important, because this means the stronger and tankier your team, the stronger Artemis becomes. Especially with strength-based allies. Especially with teams that can sustain. This is not just a buff. This is scaling. And that's why Artemis is not weak. She is conditional. Now let's talk about the real question. How do we build her efficiently, without wasting resources? Because this is where most players fail. They overbuild. They spread resources. And they lose value. So let's keep it clean. First, skills. Max everything. No discussion. Every part of her kit matters. Every skill contributes to her scaling and damage. Now evolution. 5 stars is enough to start. Do not rush absolute star. Her soul stones are accessible. And this is long term. Next. Glyphs. If you are managing resources correctly, aim for level 40 across all. But if you are limited, focus on 3, physical attack, health, and armor penetration. These 3 unlock her damage and keep her alive. And stop at level 40. No need to push further early. Now sparks of power. Max them. Always. This boosts all her primary stats. And directly increases her effectiveness. Now skins. And this is critical. You start with physical attack. Only physical attack. No doubt. No hesitation. This is what defines Artemis. This is what unlocks her damage. Once that is fully maxed, you move to critical hit chance. Everything else. Weight. Agility. Health. They can all wait. Because if she doesn't deal damage, she does nothing. Now artifacts. Start with her book. Alchemist's Folio. This increases her effectiveness and supports her main role. Then move to her ring. Ring of Agility. If you are low on resources, you can stop here. If not, continue building from there. But always prioritize value. Now hero level. No exceptions. Because this unlocks talismans. And talismans change everything. They can replace multiple skins if built correctly. Her talisman, especially the one with agility and physical attack, is extremely valuable. And if you can obtain it, you should. Because it directly boosts her core strength. Now when you combine all of this, you get a hero that is not overbuilt. Not draining your resources. But functional. Dangerous. Capable of scaling. Controlling. And eliminating key targets. But only if used correctly. Because Artemis is not plug and play anymore. She requires the right team. The right setup. The right moment. And if you force her, she fails. But if you understand her, she wins. So Guardians, if you stopped using Artemis, if you thought she was no longer viable, maybe it's time to rethink that. Not as a main hero, but as a strategic weapon. Because in the right fight, she doesn't just perform. She dominates. Stay tuned, stay sharp, and as always, salute and friendship.